before.
I don't know why that surprises me. Because I should.
All right. Well,
No.
you should.
I do, and I don't need a haircut tonight.
No haircut tonight.
We did not warn people we were going live, but yeah.
Well, here we are.
Yes.
You forgot to let people know we were coming on. Hi, Lisa. People are actually watching. All right.
Whoa, a lot of people just like boom, just like that. I think maybe because we didn't have those funny filters on that.
Hi,
all these,
Zevia and Ronald. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you yesterday.
I keep forgetting that one
Hi,
earplug.
Tanya.
It's so. Your
Karen and Shelly. Hi, Faye.
Oh, your voice cuts right through one ear and out the other.
Hi, Linda. Barbara.
Okay.
Cecilia.
Oh my goodness. Hello,
Tamara.
everyone.
Marilyn.
Oh, look at that. We got some.
Hi, Jill.
We got some
And
steam
Juanita.
going. That should be okay, right?
Well, I hope so because that's your recipe and your deal tonight. So I hope so.
Let me introduce myself, and then maybe we should. That's a lot of steam coming up. Okay, so we have to get going. So you guys know who these crazy two people in your phones are. I'm Tim Kaufman.
I'm Heather Kaufman.
And together we... Oh, no, I screwed up. We run a page called Fat Man Rants, and together we have lost 290 pounds. But more importantly, we've regained our health. We live a healthy, happy, and active life on a whole food, plant-based diet. And we come to you guys live on Sundays to make very exquisite, complicated recipes to help you. And we hope it helps. Because we know what we did is out there for anyone. And if we can do it...
You can too.
Yes, that was perhaps the
We weren't paying attention. And I was looking at all the comments coming up were throwing me off. Hi, Liz. Hi, Lori. Hi, Dara.
I know. The new haircut.
Shelly, I'm glad you like the burgers. I'm glad you had one tonight.
Someone complimented my haircut.
Hi, Sherry.
That just happened like 4 minutes ago.
Am I going to get going here? Or
I don't
you
know,
gonna
but
check, check your Instapot.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Hi, Jerry.
Okay, so let me hold on. Stop saying hello. Hello, everyone. Everyone. Hello. We're glad you're here. Tell us where you're from, and if you got some questions, plop them in the comments. Because Heather's watching every one of them come through, and she's gonna remember them all. But we have two things to make today. We just called an audible like 2 seconds ago. I had these plans for really cool potato pancakes, but Heather didn't like them so much. So we changed it to fridge clean out soup because we want some soup.
Yeah.
So it'll be great so we can have it tomorrow. So really, we're totally using this live so we can make tomorrow's dinner. And I think that's a great
And tonight's treat.
Yes. And tonight's treat, of course.
Shirley.
So we should probably get going. And I don't really know what to do with that Instapot because that looks really hot. So why don't you start yours?
Okay.
Do
you think you should shut yours off?
I think when you go over there, maybe you should just hit off.
Okay.
Because that looks really dangerous. So I'm cheating tonight, and I'm preheating some water in the Instapot so you guys don't have to wait 17 hours. Oh, look at that. The off button works. Yeah, don't stick your head there. That looks really hot. That thing gets hot fast. Okay, so Heather, I am going to flip the camera around.
All right.
And whoa, there you are.
There I am.
Okay, so tell us what you're making tonight.
I'm going to make pumpkin treats.
Pumpkin treats.
I got this new Pampered Chef tray.
Silicone.
And I've been wanting silicone tray, and I've been wanting to make something in it. And of course, it's fall. I love pumpkin, and I wanted to find a way to make some kind of granola bar or something. So I came up with these pumpkin treats, and I made them yesterday. So I know it works.
We hope. It works.
It
a
works.
little bit.
And so I'm going to get started. So
all right.
I have one overripe banana, and I'm going to put it in my bowl.
So an overripe banana I'm gonna narrate if I
All
can.
right, you narrate.
We use, if you watch us at all, we use a lot of overripe bananas, and there's a reason for that. First of all, most of the time we get them super cheap. So she's gonna start mashing.
And I'm gonna mash this up, and
mash.
it's actually, it wasn't as ripe as I thought it was. The other day when it was really, really ripe, so it was way easier to just mash it with a fork. And I just decided to do it this way because this is how I remember making banana bread, pumpkin bread before. I remember my mom doing it this way, just with a fork.
Okay, so normally I do this in the KitchenAid or something, but so this is good. It's a good arm workout. But I was going to go back to the overripe banana. We don't use a whole lot of sweeteners. We are going to make an exception on this one, which is totally optional. But the reason why we like overripe bananas is because it's a sweetener with benefits. And what I mean by that is the more ripe they are, the more sweet they get. But there's also a whole bunch of nutrients and amazing benefits that are super healthy. So you get the sweetener, and instead of all the junk, you actually get good stuff.
And next I'm going to take a half a cup of 100% pumpkin.
100%.
That's what it says.
Not
on the
90%.
can. It's at 100% just pumpkin.
It's 100%
Just
pumpkin.
That's what it said on the can. So,
All right, so
I hope they were right.
Yeah, so basically what you need to look for is unsweetened pumpkin. The only ingredient in that can is pumpkin.
And I don't have the can because I threw it out yesterday.
Because we practice, which is really good that we practice this.
Okay, and then next.
All right, so far, if you're just joining us, we have some one banana, overripe banana.
Overripe banana.
And some.
Half a cup of pumpkin.
Half a cup of pumpkin, and here.
And then I got a quarter cup of plant milk.
So that's just unsweetened almond milk, I believe.
Yep. And then I'm going to do a teaspoon of vanilla.
Vanilla. Again, probably optional, but I think it'll make it taste lovely, actually.
Very lovely.
Yeah. And it'll smell wonderful,
and
too.
I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and you do not have to do it, but I'm just going to do it tonight.
So,
Make it
normally, we don't really use a whole lot of maple syrup, but if you're making these for company or if you still have a sweet tooth,
or for your daughter.
It adds a little extra sweetener. It's like I say, it's probably not needed. If we were just making these for ourselves, we probably would omit that, especially if you have a super ripe banana.
And then next I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon.
That teaspoon always freaks me out.
I know. I don't know why you don't like it. It's
looks,
a nice little teaspoon.
It looks so big to me, though.
But it says 1 teaspoon.
Okay, so teaspoon of cinnamon.
All right. And I'm going to do, I have unsalted walnuts.
Well, let's finish our spices first so we keep everyone organized.
I'm going in order that I wrote it down.
Oh, okay. So we're going to take a break from our spices, and now we're going to add some walnuts.
I'm going to add some of my, actually these didn't get crushed up as much as I wanted them to. But
so these are just,
them up. They're just unsalted raw walnuts.
Right.
And I wanted them to be a little more mashed up, but I forgot to do that. So
all right, well they're good.
Mash them up a little bit.
And you're putting a half or a quarter cup in?
Yeah, it's going to be about a quarter cup. That's all that's left in the bag. So probably a little more than a quarter cup.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a lot more than a quarter cup.
Yep. And that's okay.
Yeah.
If you like walnuts, fine. Add more, add less, or add none.
Or get them smaller so they don't mess with your
or
silicone tray that much.
Yeah, that's why
because they're going to be
I should
lumpy.
have smashed them up more.
But that's all right.
That's okay. And then next I'm going to do, I like raisins, so I'm going to do half a cup of raisins.
Half a cup of raisins. And again, I feel like adding the raisins, you probably really don't even need that maple syrup the more I think about this.
I think these are going to be a little too sweet.
Yeah, they're probably going to be too sweet.
Probably should have maybe only done 1 tablespoon of maple syrup.
Okay, so then your pumpkin spice is the only ingredient that's left.
And yep.
Can you tell I'm stressing about the pumpkin spice? Because I really want to talk about the
Yes.
pumpkin spice.
Okay.
So
we have a half a teaspoon
this is
of
very,
pumpkin pie spice.
very important. You only use a half a teaspoon because the stuff is super overpowering. But one note on this, most pumpkin pie spice will have sugar, and it will actually be the base of it will be sugar, the majority.
This does not.
So exactly. So we already went over this, but in case you're joining us for the first time, our pumpkin spice does not have any sugar. So right now it looks really gross. Yeah.
And then next I'm going to put a half a cup of oat flour in.
And for the oat flour, we just took some rolled oats. We do this about once a week. We throw them all in the blender and we turn them into oat flour. It's really just rolled oats or old-fashioned oats, blended up into a powder. And your batter is almost done and it's starting to look delicious. All right, it doesn't look delicious, but I know
Well, then you don't have to have any.
I know we tasted it and it certainly is delicious. All right, I'm gonna zoom in.
Yep. So it's getting there, and it's just with a fork that I'm mixing it, and that's it. I like things nice and easy.
Nice and easy. Yep, nice and
Nice and easy.
All right.
All right.
So now we gotta fill your molds.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So now, can I complain about the molds or no?
You can complain about the
So
molds.
these molds are great. They're lovely, but Jerry, what brand of oats? We use oats. We actually buy oats like 600 pounds at a time because we need them to make our burgers. And so I don't really know what brand they are, but they come in 50-pound bags and they're huge.
They're just regular rolled oats, right?
And so Dawn, we did mention where we got this is a Pampered Chef mold. You can also go on my Amazon store, and I have a silicone mold that's a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I thought this was a little deeper, and it's not. But
But
they
it works.
turn out perfect. And actually, you really don't need that much. You really don't need that bigger of a bowl,
Right.
anyways, to begin with. So, I mean, it's a nice treat
Yeah,
and a healthy treat.
right. So are you filling all of them?
I'm gonna fill up as many as I can fill.
All right, just checking. This is the part where I wish we had time lapse and we could like pause you guys
Yeah.
and speed it up. But
I'm
it
trying.
is
to
what it
hurry.
is. And when you have our culinary experience and expertise, these good things take time.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, Heather, I know this is your recipe,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna talk a little bit about other ways that you could do this.
Okay.
You totally could put this in silicone muffin
Right.
pans, which would be great. I think
What about a
because
loaf?
they're so sweet, I think that I might. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want a whole muffin of these, but I think the bars work well. Another thing that you could do is spoon drop them onto parchment paper and make cookies out of them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good idea.
And I think we decided yesterday it works really well with a butter knife. It takes like 2 seconds once they're full.
Yeah. I'm hurrying.
No, I'm not trying to rush you. Everyone's like super patient. Jerry says he likes hanging with us.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Gary.
Lori, my Amazon store is somewhere on Amazon. And I think it's called Fat Man's Kitchen Favorites. It's a very small store, but it's basically what we use here in our kitchen, the stuff that we find that helps the most. And most of the stuff is pretty cheap, too.
And you know what? I like this little tray.
I do, too.
I'm gonna tell you, I like this. I like the color.
All right, so, you're going for another one. I
think
thought
I
we were
just-
going to stop at 8, but
No.
you're going for it.
Yeah. Oh, actually.
Yeah, but no, you're probably gonna want to use that butter knife trick
I'm
that we did.
gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I'm
All right.
getting there.
All right.
You're rushing me.
I know. Because the butter knife works so good. That's gonna be a dud. That one.
Well, that's all right. It can be a dud, and you know what? I'll eat the dud.
All right. So
It'll just be a lot thinner.
I'm panning back out because now what she's going to do, what we found yesterday, is if we take a butter knife and just slide it over the top like you're troweling concrete, and if you've ever troweled concrete, this is the same exact thing. Works really well. It'll fill the corners in for you so they don't break apart when they come out of the oven. And if you keep it flat, there you go. This is perfect. Now, yesterday we did put this on a cookie sheet, so I don't know.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think. Do you want to try it without?
Sure. Let's try it without.
Let's
This
try it
one's
without.
gonna be real thin.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the dud. It's the dud. We knew it was. All right, so you're gonna pop them in the oven.
So that made 8. It made 9 bars in the dud.
9 in a dud.
9 in the dud.
All right, throw that in there. Come on, it's soup time.
I'm trying to make it nice.
When you flip them over, no one's even gonna see. Oh, we should have put it on. All right, so she's gonna pop that in the oven, and then I am going to switch places with her, and I'm gonna actually make something that we make quite a bit. Oh, what did we say the time?
350, and we're gonna do 25 minutes.
25 minutes. So yesterday we tried 15 minutes, and it definitely wasn't enough. You want these on the drier side, if anything.
Because when you take them out,
Yeah.
they were a little
Yeah.
mushier.
Okay. So there. Whoa.
Whoa.
Hold on to her.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. You guys went for a ride to our ceiling. Okay. So you are very messy.
Well, I'm
Very
sorry. You didn't give me you were rushing
Oh,
me, and
my
then you didn't
goodness.
give me a chance to clean my stuff up.
Okay. So I'm gonna make. Oh man. I thought I was bad. So here's what I'm gonna do. Look at recipes. We got this. All right. How are we looking? I don't want to put cinnamon in our soup because that would be just weird. Okay, so here's what happened. First of all, here's my little trick. I filled my Instapot about halfway up with water. I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to use the manual. I put it on for 12 minutes, and I'm going to have that go. The reason why I'm doing that is I don't feel like waiting while this thing heats up. So I already have a head start while I'm prepping my vegetables. My Instapot is on. So I went to the fridge. I said, what looks good? What do we got to use up? And here's what I came up with. I have a half a bag of corn.
Hi, Christy.
Heather must have got these on sale. This is just shredded cabbage. It's red cabbage. I have celery. It's not on its way out, but it looked delicious. And we have a couple pieces of kale that we just happen to have laying around. And then I took a pound of frozen green beans. I have an onion. I have a pepper, randomness, and I just grabbed a cup of jasmine rice. So this is what I'm going to build my soup out of. There's no recipe. I don't even know. It's going to turn out because soup always turns out.
And that kale we got yesterday at our meetup,
Yes.
a friend brought in a huge bowl
Right.
of kale.
So I just want to show really quick how I'm de-stemming this. And what I do is I fold it to one side, and see how I leave that lay over here? I take the end of my knife and I just kind of run it down. Now I can do this with my hand too. I can also do this, but I feel like I miss the ends. So when I do my kale, I just take this knife and I just go I like it really fine. And then I'm going to go one way down it. And this is nice and fresh. And remember why I didn't want to strip it like that? If you freeze it for about a half an hour, it strips even easier. So here's my kale. I'm going to actually put that in first just to get it out of the way. It's nice and chopped up. This will give me a really nice color for my broth too, and the flavor is great. And it's a great way to get kale. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to get this onion in here too. And for that, I'm just cutting off both ends. I ring it off the side like that. I don't take a whole lot of time cutting it fancy, cutting it small. I'm making soup, so I don't really care. So I cut it once in half. Then I go like this. And then I just come down here and I just dice it all up. And I'm not making any finger jokes today because the last time I did that, I really did cut it. I'm not taking a whole lot of time cutting this stuff pretty. It's soup. Alright, so that, my water should be almost boiling again. I'm going to go dump this in the pot.
Someone wants to know why you're so fussy tonight.
Fussy?
Yeah.
I'm not fussy at all.
Someone said you're probably tired from working in the shop.
I am. I'm beat. Alright, so this is gross. I'm going to take that, get rid of that. Then my celery, I love, see this leaf in here? That's the best part of the celery. That's like free parsley. And I love the flavor of that. It tastes delicious. And so that's all going to go. Celery and onions, they're a must-have in soup. They really flavor the soup well. Alright, so there's that. Then I'm going to come back over here. I have this pepper that was sitting in there that looked really lonely. Probably bought it for salad.
Yep.
I'm assuming.
Yep.
And so for my pepper, I stack them up. I'm just going to go right down like this. And then I come back like this. And give it a nice little dice. Super ruffian. I'm not getting fancy. I'm just getting them smaller. Without getting my fingers. Alright, so there's that. Now, I can look at my pot it's already starting to get full, and I want to save room for my cabbage because I want this whole bag in here. So, I'm going to do this whole thing. And then I'm going to put this in. You know what? I think I'm going to be able to fit this all in. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. So I'm going to put my whole bag of green beans in. And then I have a half a bag of corn that was laying around. And all the while this is still heating, so this is good. Hopefully it won't take long.
Why don't you put, someone asked, why don't you chop the kale stems and put them in the soup too?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just these particular stems are like half of a tree, and they're like wood. If it was smaller kale or if it was baby kale, I'll totally do it. I'm throwing a cup of rice in here. I don't have to, but I could put quinoa, I could put chickpeas, whatever. But I want the soup to go fast, so this is jasmine, and it'll cook in the 12 minutes that the soup's going to be in here for. So I'm going to put that in. Then the last thing I have to do is figure out what spices to put in. What?
Someone said be careful with the knife. The soup is supposed to be plant-based.
No. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is figure out the spices. I'm going to go a little crazy with spices today, because I want you guys to see this combination that I really, really like a lot. But it's a very weird combination. But I love it. So let's do this. All right, so I'm going to build my spice pack right here. And it's not going to be that crazy, but it'll be crazy enough. Do you have anything I can use for...
Yes.
Can we pretend?
Yes.
No.
The tablespoons in with the coffee.
Yeah, alright, so listen. Let's do this.
The other one.
We're going to do a little guesstimation. Alright, so onion powder. Bring them in here.
Alright.
Onion powder. We love onion powder. So I'm going to do at least 2 tablespoons. I don't play around with onion powder. It's super good. It makes a lot of flavor. So there's my onion powder. Next, I have some garlic powder. I'm not going to go too crazy with this, but definitely a big old tablespoon of garlic. If I had fresh, I would totally use fresh. So I wanted to use something a little bit different. So marjoram, I'm going to put 2 big spoonfuls of that. This has almost like a lemony flavor to it. And then I'm going to do about, is this a spice? I don't know. I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. And here's why. It's going to give my broth a really cool looking color, but this is going to crank it up even more. I know most people don't have curry spice in this. This is just a pre-mixed curry spice, and I'm gonna put a whole tablespoon of that in there. Look at that, look at that. And then, lastly, I'm gonna put a little bit of black pepper, or I'll be in trouble if I put too much. But isn't that, look at that, look at that. That's good stuff right there.
It's lovely.
It's lovely. So this is a lot of spices. I'm going to put that in there, along with a couple tablespoons of liquid aminos. Before I put the cap on this, I'm going to give it a stir, just to make sure my rice is under the water. And I guessed right, because it was half full of water, and now it's right up to my max. And it's mixed really good. Even though you can't see it, you'll have to trust me. The last thing I'm going to do is put my lid on Instant Pot. Make sure it's locked on. We are good to go.
And how long for that?
I put that for 12 minutes, which is perfect because you have 15 minutes left on your stuff. What a mess you made of this kitchen. There. So
we're waiting for our pumpkin treats and our...
Wait a minute. Oh, that's good. All right, so
soup fridge.
So here's the deal. We have 14 minutes left on the pumpkin things, and the Instapot is on. It'll do a 12-minute countdown, but it's going to take a little bit to build up pressure. But we cheated, and we started with hot water. I do that a lot. If I know I'm going to use the Instapot, I try to get that going first.
Yes, I should have slipped some potatoes in there.
Yes, I was going to, but I'm angry because we were supposed to have potato pancakes, and she wouldn't let me make them.
I didn't like them.
She said
he needs to maybe measure the spices this time instead of dumping a lot of black pepper in or whatever it was.
Yeah, they were a little spicy. I like red pepper in them, but that's just
We could try them again.
We will try them again.
Time.
I thought they were great. Did you eat one?
Yeah, but...
You ate one.
I was starving when we came home.
Okay. All right, so did people have questions? Because we could totally take questions today.
Well, you guys will have to bring it forward and bring it forward a little bit.
Bounce people everywhere. Sorry.
Through.
Whoa, we're getting bigger. This is going to be like literally...
Nope, keep going.
Oh, but no, Lisa brings up a good point. When you don't eat meat, you can use the red cutting board. I never even realized the red one is for... Some of them had a little like... they put a pork chop on one and chicken. And it's interesting. This is very interesting to me.
Okay.
It's actually, Lisa doesn't know this, but she brought up a really good subject. You know, now that we're plant-based and we haven't cooked meat in the house in this house ever, have we?
No.
I don't.
We moved in, and 2 months later, I had went in full.
Well, let's put it this way.
Full.
I would definitely say that within the past 5 years, no meat has been cooked in this house. And the cool thing is now that we're getting into the restaurant industry and all the health department stipulations and all that, it's pretty amazing, you know, how scary it is to have like raw meat next to cooked meat, next to vegetables, and all this stuff has to be separated. And I don't even give it a thought anymore. Like it's real food, and if you lick your fingers, if stuff, you know what I mean? Like there's none of that fear of getting something.
I could have probably licked my bowl out.
Yeah, well, because there's no egg in it. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. And the other thing is cleanup. Cleanup is a breeze when you get rid of the oil. Dang, it's so easy to clean up.
Do you make stock out of your scraps?
I do, actually. I do. And I've been super lazy about it. I don't know who asked that question, but we used to be really good. I used to be really good at saving like all this kind of stuff. Even the seeds, we would use the seeds for stock. All the kale stems, the ends of carrots. We definitely need to get back to that. I've been super lazy. We've been super busy, which is not an excuse. Yeah, kale stems. I think that came up.
Yeah, Chantel already asked that. I asked you
Did
about that. So yeah, we already
Did you
talked
used
about
to
that.
add
We
meat
just
before
pretty much.
you lost weight?
Oh,
Yeah. So honestly, like I didn't cook a whole lot when I was big, um, but I used to make chicken noodle soup. That was like my jam.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I did make. So 100%. Because in my mind, all soups had to start with meat. That's how you get your stock. But the reality is, once you stop that, you realize that the flavors all come from the plants, the spices. Honestly, like there honestly is no flavor in chicken.
right.
It's just grease. The flavor comes from what you put with it. So I always liked my mom's chicken, but what I really liked is how she coated it with garlic, salt, and onion powder and pepper. Like that's the stuff that tasted good to me. So really, you think you need to have a stock with meat and stuff, and you really don't. This will make a beautiful stock, and then nutritional yeast will give it a nice, instead of having like a clear broth, it'll give it a nice light brown broth, and the curry powder is going to make it another color. And if you really want something different than just a clear broth, what you can do is put some tomato paste in there and have a tomato-based soup.
Yep.
And you don't need the meat. The soup tastes every bit as good. Here's the trick, though. You got to keep it hearty.
Yes.
You can't have a carrot, like a couple carrot nickels floating around in there and call it soup. It's got to be, you'll see when this, it has to be soup that you can stick a spoon in and stand it up. Or it's not soup.
You can maybe scroll, because I saw some more.
Yes, liquid smoke. Yes, and the damp towel underneath. Yes, definitely. And there's another little thing that we have somewhere that I don't use. Okay.
I think you can go to the end now.
Go to the end.
Yeah, and now scroll down.
That,
What is your food you go to when you're stressed?
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Potatoes are the answer to everything, really. I don't know.
For
like
me, if I don't, it just like it. I don't really have like a go-to food when I'm stressed.
This is gonna sound like we're cheating, but it's when I'm so back in the day, when I would get stressed, I would want big food, like big pizza, big thick crust pizza. That was comforting to me, right? But this is so weird, and I have never talked to you about this. What do you do when you're stressed? I'm not supposed to put you on the spot, but I know if I'm stressed, if I'm having, like if we have a lot going on, and yesterday we took some time out of our extremely busy schedule and we hit the trail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what do I eat when I'm stressed? Trail air. It's a very good unstressor to go outside, even if it's cold out. Take a walk. The best unstress you can give yourself is spend some quiet time in nature.
But for me, I like to just put my earbuds in and run and just forget everything else around me. That's my big thing. I mean, I when I get stressed, I don't like eat a ton of stuff. That's my go-to.
And I don't think you ever did though. Like
I never like did that before. Maybe munch on snacks or whatever before, but not now. That's just not that's not what I do. So, but what I do is I like to go out and run. If I've already ran or something and there's a lot going on, I kind of just have to sit down and take a breather and just have some quiet and get my focus and get back.
Reflect, pray. Just spend a time out, right?
Yeah, you know what? And you do bring, that's one thing. When I have a lot of stuff going on and certain things that come up that really, depending on what it is, it kind of pushes me a little bit, and I I guess, worked up or upset, I have to sit down and I have to just, number one, I have to pray about the issue. And number two, then if I can go out and run or just kind of sit and relax and have just some quiet time.
And sometimes it's as easy as putting things into perspective, because a lot of times when we get stressed, I feel like we're making bigger deals out of stuff than... Okay, so really, I'm not supposed to rant tonight. This is a rant-free night. But what I found in my life is when I get stressed, it's about stuff that might happen. You know, most of the time I don't get stressed about things that have already happened, because that's a situation that we have to deal with. A lot of times we freak ourselves out because we get so stressed out over something that may happen, that likely won't happen, but we're going to get all worked up about it anyway. So a lot of this stuff is reframing. I don't know, we're way off from where we started with stress eating for food, but stress, for me, this is kind of an important topic for me, because how I used to deal with stress wasn't with food, it was with drugs and alcohol. Because I felt like if we feel stress, that there's something wrong and that we should stop that. And I'm not a doctor, so whatever I'm saying right now, forget what I'm saying. But this is what I believe. I believe that stress comes into our life, and if we try to hide from it, if we try to escape it, it's not helping any. It's not helping at all. What we're doing is we're kicking the can down the road. And then the escapes that we're trying to use to escape the stress is going to cause real problems down the road. So it might be and I'll use me for an example. I would have a problem that I manufactured in my head. I would get stressed out about it. So then I would take something, whether it's food, drugs, or alcohol, to now feel the escape from that stress, maybe just dull the stress. But really what I was doing is making a problem. So my point is this: don't manufacture stuff up in your head. Don't worry about things that may happen. Deal with what you have to deal with today. And maybe instead of escaping it with food or drugs or alcohol, deal with it. Like, unpack it in your head. What is the worst thing that can happen if X happens? And really, a lot of the stuff isn't as bad as we think it's going to be.
Right. And I tend to do that sometimes.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I know what you were thinking. Yes, sometimes I think of what if this, what if that, what if this.
And I was not.
And then I have to, yes.
I feel bad.
Get myself back in line and say, okay, let's forget about that. Let's deal with what's really going on and what's happening today. Not what might happen.
I'm not picking on you, but we can spend our whole life, concerned with what could happen, and we miss out what's really happening. We miss out on spending time with friends and family and doing things we enjoy because we're so worked up about what could happen next week if this particular thing happens. So my point is, that was a very long answer. What do I eat for stress? I go for a walk or a run or bike ride, whatever. Now, that is not to be confused with eating out of boredom.
Yeah, there you
because
go.
I'm 100,000% guilty of this, and if I could stop doing this, I'd weigh about 15 pounds.
I need to go check those bars.
Yes. And so for me, stress eating has kind of never been a problem, I don't think. But eating out of boredom is certainly, I deal with that now. Like, sometimes I will have, and it doesn't have to be bad food. It can be very, very good food. Hey, you should get your giant jousting stick out to test them. You're going to get one, aren't you? I knew it. No. I
was going to do something, but I wasn't sure which way the camera was turned.
No, it's to me. I was almost in trouble. So it's been about 1 year since we've actually had toothpicks in the house. So Heather's going to get a giant bamboo skewer out, and that's how she's going to...
I broke it in half.
All right. You almost poked my eye out on camera. All right, so she's checking them.
Yeah.
And they're done. And so, okay, so
So actually 24 minutes.
24 minutes. See how that works? Unless you're at altitude. So, one thing we did notice with any of these things, the muffins, anything that we use in a silicone tray, it's always best to let them cool down, which is sometimes hard because some people in this house are super hungry after we make them, and she gets into them. But it's always better to leave them cool down. And there's part of me that says pop them right in the fridge right now, but we're not going to do that. Okay?
I covered up my little
Yeah, so
spatula.
definitely do not do that yet because they will fall apart into
I'm
mush.
not. I was just putting
Getting
them over
it
there.
ready.
I was going to...
And it's
Bring it over?
the Instapot is going like a locomotive, and why don't we wait for about 5 minutes and then
Okay.
we can do all this together. So Heather is now cleaning the kitchen on the other side of the camera. Okay, so
I forgot to turn the oven
so
off. Make
yes,
sure you turn the
it's-
oven off.
it's hot. We have to put the fan. See, the problem is if we put the fan on for the oven, then it's loud, and if we don't, then it gets about 400 degrees in here.
All
We
right,
have
so
all
that
sort of stuff.
Instapot's going.
Instapot's rumbling away. The pumpkin bars are cooling, and we listen to that. And that's Instapots are great. Okay. Stress eating. Oh yeah. Okay. So stress eating. I don't know. Do we? I feel like I'm being mean when I say that, but it's so true. Like it's just my experience. It's my experience.
And it's just different for everybody too.
It is,
So-
and a lot of people, that's the other thing too. I think like yesterday, so honestly, like Facebook confession time. So I had a little bit of a meltdown yesterday. I want to run so bad, and I got all bummed yesterday because I'm limping and I'm still not right from this stupid surgery, and then. What I realized is I have 2 friends right now that are struggling with cancer, and they would give anything to go limp on a trail and have their ankle hurt. So a lot of what we worry about, to put it in perspective, if we go help people, we help people, and help people deal with their problems, it makes our problems look a little smaller.
Right.
Because my problem to me seems huge right now, but it's really, in the grand scheme of things, it's an ankle, it's an ankle.
And prayers to you, Tammy, about your appointment tomorrow. I believe that's what it said. Let me get back here.
Yes, keep going.
Next week.
Yeah, and so that's,
So
but
we'll
see,
be
that's,
thinking of you and
but that's
praying
why
for you.
I don't want to sound like I'm being a jerk. Like, people have real issues, right? People have real issues, and I get that, and going to the oncologist, that's like a real issue. That's a very stressful thing. But I'm maybe putting everyone into a group that maybe I shouldn't. But in my experience, most of the time when I worry about stuff, it's for stuff that I don't need to be worrying about. Now I realize there are things in life that do cause stress,
Right,
and
but
should.
I think but I can't remember who was asking it just about stress eating, and you said, this is what you do, and like I said before, everybody does things their own way.
Yeah, and people deal with stress differently
Right,
too.
that's what I was trying to get
Some
at.
people go shopping. I know you.
On
do.
Marketplace. So easy.
No, we haven't had any purchases this week, so it's a good week. And you're right. Lauren, you're right. I just had this discussion with someone in the gym last week. That issues are issues. Just because someone else's issues are bigger than yours doesn't mean that your issues don't affect you. And I get that too. I think there's a balance there, and I think we can stress ourselves out way more than we need to. That's all. And that's Jerry. That you nailed it, man. Like, when you start counting what you do have, it makes the bad stuff kind of get a lot smaller. When you really open your eyes in the morning and you're thankful for a new day and everything that you do have, it kind of makes the other stuff kind of get small,
Sure, I'd love a shopping buddy, Tanya.
With a bigger credit card.
So is the soup okay?
So
Now it's-
yeah, so it's gonna, but that's okay. We can listen to the dog, and there's still a lot of people watching.
And I think I can take the bars out and put them on. Should I put them on the plate or leave them for a little
Yeah,
bit?
flip. I would. Well, let's leave them. Let's leave 'em. Let's see if we can answer a few more questions and see that hopefully I don't get off on tangents because I do that. I tend to do that. Do you know that?
No, not at all.
Do you know that about me? All right, so give us questions. Drop some questions here, and if you guys ask 3 questions for the price of 3 questions tonight, you guys get to see what these pumpkin bars turned out like. So who's gonna be the first one? Potatoes save me. Oh, you know.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Marilyn, that's awesome.
yes.
It's funny. Oh man. All right, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, and I hope he's not watching. He's probably not watching. So I work with this guy, and he's telling me, you know, he's really excited because he was 4 days he's been on a diet, and you know, he was excited, he was happy. He goes, but it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I'm always hungry, and I'm like, dude, if you're always hungry, you're doing something wrong. Like, and I said, why don't you eat a couple potatoes? And he goes, like potatoes, like it's like I said a curse word to the guy. And he goes, you can't be on a diet and have potatoes.
Sure
and
you can.
You know, I got angry. I didn't get angry. I got frustrated because I'm trying to tell the guy, but at the same time, you know, that's the mentality out there that potatoes and rice and, you know, grains, then that's what makes people fat.
Cafe's coming along. It's taken a while.
I'm glad you jumped right on that whole potato thing.
Sorry, I
So
just
thanks.
happened to see the questions about the cafe.
Pling.
Sorry.
All right, so we're done with potatoes and carbs, but carbs are not bad for you if they're complex, whole food carbs. They are very good for you.
Yes.
Not to be confused with a Twinkie, a candy bar, or other whatever, soda carbs, whatever. So now let's talk about the cafe.
Sorry, you know, there's so many things going
I
on.
know.
We got the dog, we got the little people's faces going across,
I
and
know,
then we have
it's-
all the questions popping through. And I'm trying to
It is. It's like little shiny things all
and
over.
listening to you at the same time. Boy, I got a lot going on
I
here
know.
tonight.
And you're really good at ignoring me. And
Well, and I
now,
was waiting for the questions so that I could get up and go check on my bars too.
but we still, okay. We still need 2 more questions. Someone asked about carbs, unless it's so, yeah, real food. Someone just put a question mark in, and we'll get all right, let's do the pumpkin bars.
All right, because there was 2. I saw 2.
I only saw 1 question, but so I think you probably want to pop them out backwards, or no? Have you done this before?
I just kind of.
Do they
Gonna
pop
use
right out?
my little-
Oh, look at that. We'll just put them right on a plate for
See,
everyone.
they're still.
Because they're not cold enough.
I'm gonna put them on a plate.
Put them on a plate. Cardio versus weight training. My answer to that is yes. I personally, Vicky, this is a great question. So Vicky wants to know what cardio versus weight training. I try to do both, and I'm going to tell you why. I think weight training is super important, especially for me with my genetic condition. I think strong muscles can keep you uninjured and healthy. And I think that strong muscles, especially ones that we don't use every day. So, for example, you know, not that I'm that old, but I'm old enough to start realizing that, you know, there things that will put us in a nursing home down the road are not these big catastrophic events. They're from getting on and off the toilet or getting out of bed. So I think it's important to, you know, to think, you know, have strong arms that lift over your head, that can push yourself up, and things like that. Functional strength is so important. Being able to use your legs to lift you up out of a chair is super important. I also like the cardio because I think it's important that your heart remembers that you're alive once in a while. Your heart's supposed to beat fast. It cleans everything out, gets your blood flowing, up to your brain. So I think the cardio is also super, super important.
These are sticking a little
They're
bit.
sticking.
They're still a little too warm.
Because they're too warm, and we rushed it. But that's okay. Personally, what I would do with these sometimes is get them out, flip them over, and just pop them back in the oven with the oven off, and it'll help dry them out. But in any event, you only got to get a couple out for them. They'll believe you. They look lovely. All right, I'm moving your little. Okay, so Heather's right around the corner. Right now, I do not take magnesium for my knees, but I eat a lot of food with a lot of magnesium. All right, can you go on that side?
Oh.
All right, so here are the bars. Can we pick one up, or will they fall apart?
No, I can. I can pick it up.
So it. Well, you're up too high. Okay, so there you go.
Nope.
Well, stop moving it. Can you break it in half, and maybe we can get some oohs and ahs? So they're kind of cakey. Yeah. So, can you taste one?
Of course.
Are they delicious?
They're delicious.
And they're lovely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so thank you for that. So we have like 4 minutes left on the Instapot. So if you don't have silicone, definitely, we have lived a long time on parchment paper, for a long time, really.
Mm-hmm.
Until silicone's a fairly new thing in our house. But parchment paper works great. You could use little cookie cutters. Honestly, like, I'm just being real right now. If I was making these, which I probably wouldn't because I don't really have a sweet tooth, but if I was making these for you, I would have taken a spoon and plop them really hard on a piece of parchment, put them in the oven, and there you go.
Well, you can do that for me next time. That'd be
Yes. They are beautiful. They are beautiful, Heather. They look like a lot of
great.
walnuts.
Thank you, Anita.
And I'm not gonna. Oh, they're.
Do you refrigerate the bars?
Don't know. They never last long enough to. She's gonna choke on camera. They never last long enough to know. They're good though.
Mm-hmm. And actually, the walnuts were not. It wasn't that bad. They weren't that big. I
don't think they're overly sweet at all either.
Mm-mm.
I thought they were gonna be too sweet, but they're really not.
So you can put the maple syrup in if you want.
Right, but it's not necessary. And
right.
Yeah, Carla. Let me talk about breakfast this morning.
Okay.
But those are really good. Those are actually really good. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Oh, sweet. So sweetness. So we would not normally put the maple syrup in here. And if someone came over to our house company, they would taste them, and they would not taste very sweet to them at all. But they taste very sweet to us. In fact, we had some fresh New York apples today, and they were like, boom, knock your teeth out. Like my teeth hurt, they were so sweet. And that's because your palate changes. When your food changes, your palate changes. So, you get a whole new level of sweet when you eat something like a piece of watermelon or a fresh Honeycrisp apple. And it's kind of interesting because apples never tasted that sweet to me before when I was eating all the other garbage, the processed sugars. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I forgot what we were going to say.
Well, I was going to say, Lisa, I think I got that from your party, and it works great for the bars. And you can make all kinds of different ones in there.
Yes.
So I'm going to try another kind.
and we are huge fans of Pampered Chef, really.
Yes.
It's quality stuff, super quality stuff. We've had things last since we were kids, really, from Pampered Chef. I know you're watching that countdown.
I'm watching the countdown on the Instapot. And
in what?
What I was going to say is, I got Pampered Chef stuff about 26 years ago when we first got married. I had some stuff.
I know.
I believe from them.
And that was like 117 years ago when we first got married. So I think, is that the Lisa that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
We had the meetup yesterday.
Oh.
With her mom.
We had a great meetup too. So many apples.
How am I coming up with my recipes?
It's raw
whatever I
talent.
think I like.
It's talent.
And
It's-
hope that they work.
It's years of schooling and talent. Talent like no other.
And with a little help from Tim.
All right. Now I'm doing
So
this to you.
Now
So,
you're doing it to me,
yeah.
yeah?
How did you turn this?
Right there. No, the other. Yep, right there.
All right.
Perfect.
Here we go.
And he let the steam out.
Well, I didn't let it out yet. It's steaming now. If you don't have an Instapot, the prices come down so low that you should get one. They make life so much easier. I mean, we just made soup in, I don't know, 15 minutes, and it will be delicious soup. And it's
Yes,
great.
I will post the recipe for the bar. Well, actually, I'll have Tim post it.
Yes. And you know what's terrible? We have a cookbook. We have 3 cookbooks actually. We have one that's paperback, and I don't know.
I have one started, but
we
it's
keep
not together yet.
we keep making new recipes when we really don't need to, but we actually a lot of people order books this week, which is fun. We don't really advertise them that much. Maybe we should. All right, so my Instant Pot is releasing the pressure right now, and I think for safety's sake, I'm actually going to get a ladle out, and maybe I'll bring a bowl over here instead of trying to bring people over to that.
No, don't. Let's not bring that over there.
Yes, so this is actually, I've been saying it wrong for like 100 years. It's Instant Pot.
Oh.
So we've always had a knockoff called the Cuisinart, which we've loved. We've been through a couple of them. I think they're all the same, but I got this Instant Pot from my friend Al, and I love the thing. I was so afraid of it. It sat here for a couple weeks in a box. I was so afraid of it, but now I know how it looks like you're going to launch the space shuttle, but really, I only use the manual button, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that it's stainless. It cleans up way easier than the other ones. I don't feel like it makes as much of a mess as the other ones, and it's ready to go. So I'll be right back. Doesn't it?
Did you get your bowl out already?
Doesn't it smell lovely?
You forgot to get your nice little bowl out.
Which one?
Can you cook in regular pot instead of Instapot?
Yes.
I don't have one.
100%.
Yes.
It will just take longer and not be as high tech. How are you doing on yours?
Local Walmart, the Instapot was $49 for the 6 quart.
Definitely get the 6 quart if you're getting one.
Lisa says she's a little afraid of mine too. I love the quick cooker from Tom Perry Chef. All right, is it coming? What's going on here?
We're good.
All right. Yeah, I'm not too great with the Instapot either. It kind of makes me a little nervous sometimes, but I've seen Tim use it several times, so it doesn't seem to be that bad. Tim, you use it a lot, all the time.
Oh my goodness. This is a very hearty soup.
Now, it's too bad we couldn't let everybody taste it. Maybe there'll be a virtual way someday.
Maybe. Oh man, it's hot. And I'm making a mess. Making a mess.
So I'm glad you're over there, and I did not show you the mess that he's making right now.
Oh, there's no mess. Oh man, it's hot. All right, hold on. All right, can you flip the camera?
Yep.
Now look, zoom into there. Okay, so check this out. We can't steam up the camera, but look at the broth in here. Can you see that? Look at the broth. There's nothing plain about this. Look at the stock that made. It's lovely soup. And this is soup, man. This is not, I'm not playing here. This is heavy, hearty soup. That's what soup should look like.
Yes.
Yes. No meat, no oil. It's totally healthy, totally delicious. And that's our lunch for tomorrow. So there you go. Come on, can we get one more? Get one more shot of that.
All right. So we have that.
And then a nice pumpkin bar for
nice
dessert.
Pumpkin bar.
There you go. Look at that. Did we do good?
Yes. We did. It was lovely.
Do we? What? Wait, people are on the other side of our kitchen.
Oh, there
Okay.
we are.
So there you go. That's that soup is awesome to me, and it smells good, and it's not this water broth. It's not that.
Right.
And the trick that I used tonight was nutritional yeast. Will give you that kind of brownish, and it tastes very savory.
Come on over, Krista.
Mushrooms are another thing to put in there that'll make a nice deep brown broth, but it doesn't have to be boring, and it's just stuff that we had laying in our fridge, no recipe, just, I fill half the Instapot up with water, the other half with whatever we have, maybe a cup of rice, maybe a cup of quinoa, or maybe nothing, maybe just veggies. And minestrone we made a couple weeks ago, and the only thing I would do differently is put chickpeas in there and tomato. And then I would do a basil, oregano, and parsley.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how much of that will you eat? So
That.
are you gonna take some to work tomorrow?
Yeah,
Or?
but let's be clear. Let's be honest. On a night, the three of us would probably eat that whole thing.
Right.
That would be dinner for the three of us. We might have maybe some greens with it. I don't know. That's another thing too. Sometimes when it's at this point where it's hot and sometimes I like to take a big handful of spinach, dunk it in there, and let that wilt down.
Yeah. Thank you, Pamela.
Yes, she does have a lovely laugh. She does.
You make me laugh a lot.
Yes, we work hard, but we have fun.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna get out of here.
Oh, we've
because
been on for an hour.
This kitchen is freaking destroyed tonight.
And I gotta go take care of those dogs.
And the dogs are freaking out. I don't know what they're watching. But in any event, have a fantastic week. I hope you liked your pumpkin bars, and my whatever goes soup. Yeah.
Clean out the fridge soup.
Clean out the fridge soup. Have a lovely week. And don't forget, eat plants.
Move your body.
All you got to do is a little bit more than needed today. And don't stress yourself out. Bye-bye.
Take care.